Rangoon, Burma. In her first major speech Tuesday on the worsening Rohingya crisis, Burma's de facto leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, sidestepped allegations of atrocities committed against the stateless Muslim minority and cast the conflict as just one of many problems ailing the country. Appearing to cast doubt on claims that the military has burned homes, killed civilians and driven families over the border into Bangladesh, Suu Kyi told an audience of diplomats, observers and the media in the capital Naypyidaw that there have been allegations and counter-allegations. There has been much concern around the world with regard to the situation in Rakhine. It is not the intention of the Myanmar government to apportion blame or to abnegate responsibility. We condemn all human rights violations and unlawful violence, she said, vowing to look into the abuses but stopping short of singling out perpetrators. We feel deeply for the suffering of all the people who have been caught up in the conflict, she added. Burma is also known as Myanmar. This was the first time that Suu Kyi has publicly addressed the nation since the crisis began on August 25, when insurgents from the newly formed Arakan Rohingya Salvation Army, ARSA, attacked dozens of police posts in the northern state of Rakhine. The militants killed at least 12 members of the security forces and triggered the military campaign that has driven more than 400,000 Rohingya Muslims into neighboring Bangladesh. It has also unleashed a torrent of international criticism. Top United Nations officials have described the campaign as ethnic cleansing, and harrowing accounts of atrocities allegedly carried out by Burma's armed forces have emerged from refugees in camps in Bangladesh with a chilling consistency. Burma's government says it is hunting terrorists and has killed hundreds of combatants, and that Buddhists and other non-Muslim civilians have also died in the violence. While acknowledging the suffering and concern, Suu Kyi seemed puzzled as to why some people were leaving since so many had stayed behind. We want to find out why this exodus is happening, she said, speaking in English and referring to her remarks as a diplomatic briefing. I think it is very little known that the great majority of Muslims in Rakhine State have not joined the exodus. She avoided the use of the term Rohingya except to refer to the insurgent group. Burma does not recognize the Rohingya, insisting they are immigrants from Bangladesh despite having lived here for generations. In a recent interview, Burma's ambassador to the United States Aung Lin rebutted allegations of ethnic cleansing and, channeling President Trump, pointed to the false media. Pressure has been building on Suu Kyi to speak out against the violence, and she has left many former supporters disappointed by her apparent reluctance to condemn it, leading to calls for her 1991 Nobel Peace Prize to be revoked. But supporters argue she is preserving her political capital in a primarily Buddhist country of 52 million that does not see Rohingya rights as a top priority and in which many view the more than 1 million Muslims as foreign interlopers. Suu Kyi's attempt at balance Tuesday may resonate locally with supporters who don't understand the international focus on the Rohingya plight. We would like you to think of our country as a whole, not just as little afflicted areas, she said. She said that since September 5, there have been no more military operations, but satellite photos and smoke rising from burning villages visible across the border in Bangladesh belie the claim. On Thursday, outside the vast Balukhali refugee camp in Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh, which abuts the border, black smoke from at least 2 locations burning on the Burma side were visible in the sky. The existing camps in Bangladesh are overflowing with refugees, many of whom have set up makeshift shelters of bamboo poles and black plastic sheeting, or are just squatting helpless by the side of the road. Chris Lewa, of the activist group The Arakan Project, said an analysis of satellite images showed that a large number of villages were burned in the area of Radadong Township in northern Rakhine State on September 8 and 9, sending an estimated 8,000 Rohingya fleeing toward Bangladesh. She described the burning as total devastation. The stateless minority has been without rights or citizenship for decades, but while waves of migration have occurred before, experts say this is the largest exodus in such a short time period. Bangladesh is already home to hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees. Last year, after ARSA's first attack sparked reprisals, nearly 90,000 Rohingya crossed the border. The influx of refugees has revived long-standing tensions between the two countries. Bangladesh has complained that Burma has been violating its airspace and possibly laying landmines along the border. Officials in Bangladesh have also said the death toll could be in the